Glenn Parker, High Vibration Death Foundation. You are watching Glenn TV. Thank you very much for joining me. So, I bought these pair of shoes, the only pair of shoes I really own at this point in time. Long story. But they had gotten to a point where I had to finally remove the shoelaces, and they need some TLC. And tennis shoes really clean up very well. Now this yellowing that you might see, it's hard to tell with this type of lighting. It would look better outside, but you can see the color differentiation between the two. The yellowing is from heat and time and age, like being on the asphalt, and you can see how much I use these bad boys. You can see how much like wear and stuff. So it is definitely time for a new pair. But until that day comes, I removed the old funky shoelaces, which you can see are all stained and like a little rust spot or whatever that was. Something that fell onto the shoes from walking outside or eating, who knows. So those go into the trash can, and for a few bucks you buy brand new, sparkly, shiny, brand new. Now I used to wash the laces, but it's so much wear and tear ecologically and electrically to wash something like that, because the grime and stuff that's on those, you can't really wash them with other white things or towels or anything that you care about. And if you wash them like with rags or something like that, then sometimes the grease and gunk gets off and gets on these things. So it's really kind of a waste of time. And these things have seen much better days. This is the insole that has been there for a very short time. It like literally disintegrated. Now this is like a Dr. Schultz or whatever that is, little insole, and it gives it, because the insole, the internal little cushion that's on the shoes, these are like 4 or 5 years old. I bought them. They had been worn like 10 times. I bought them off of eBay for like 40 bucks. Because I need high tops. I have sprained my ankle like 4 times. Once really, twice really bad. And it's a weak spot. So if I wear regular shoes, or if I wear like, especially sandals or something like that, something that doesn't have support, then I end up doing it again. So I stick with this, or a brand like this. Usually I stick with Nike's. Like, look how long this shoe is held up. This was a special edition, like a New York City edition. But this will clean up really nicely. And I use 2 different things to do that. I use the Miracle 2 soap, and I do the protocol that you would do for the dishwasher, or maybe washing your car or something like that. Is this is almost half and half. Well, not even quite. It's like 2/3 water, like purified water, and then the rest is Miracle 2 soap, the concentrate. And this isn't the, because there's 2 of these. There's one that has like a moisturizer in it. You can see that it separates and you shake it up. You don't want to use that to clean anything. Like, you want to clean yourself with this, but you don't want to clean like your shoes or whatnot, because the residue off of the moisturizer does bad things. So you always want to make sure you have the regular one. This should sit for at least 24 hours. They say a few hours, but I find after 24 hours, it's all nice and mixed, and it cleans much better. Well, you don't waste as much of it, because you don't need it in concentrated forms for most of the things that you do. So all the activated charcoal from my shoes got everywhere as I'm manhandling them over this thing here. So what I usually do is get some nice hot water, and that's there we go. It's 108 degrees out today, boys and girls. It didn't take long to get hot water out here in Vegas. And this isn't the only thing that I use. I don't just use the Miracle 2 soap. I use that as my final cleaning agent, but the best thing in the entire world that I've ever found to clean shoes is the concentrate, like you would use for like stains. And I hate chemicals, and I'm extremely chemical sensitive, but the Miracle 2 soap will take some of that stuff off, but this will eat everything off. It's like they look as new as humanly possible. And it's important to take the laces off most of the time on high tops, because you see this discoloration that you start to see in here. I mean, there's like dirt and grime that has gotten in between there, and I've gone out and I've done different things, but I don't remember walking in the dirt or anything crazy. It's just normal accumulation. Well, I have done some stuff out in the outside in the yard, but for the most part, I wear my sandals for that. I'm not out there for any length of time. So what I do, get some more hot water, gloves, Now, if me putting on rubber gloves arouses you, then I don't know what to tell you. So first, I just go over it with warm water to take off, the basic stuff that will come off pretty easily, like some of this comes off, and you can see some of it, just to get like the topical layer of stuff, and then the hot water kind of starts to work its magic. And you can see, when you rub on specific areas for a certain amount of time, like it's rubbed the actual plastic or whatever the hell they're using for the shoe off of the shoe. So it's not returning. You're just making a clean spot that you can see is wear and tear. So eventually tennis shoes need to be replaced. There's just no way around that. So I think if you get ones over on these, you can see the back of these. You can see that they're starting to crack and whatnot. There's really nothing you can do now. There's some shoe hydration and polishes and stuff you can get. You can even send them in for like $25-$30. You can send them to a couple different places, and they'll do a pretty good restore on these things. But you can see it didn't really take off. You can see like a couple spots where it took some off where you can see it, but when you add a little bit of Miracle 2 soap, and I just dip it in there, try not to get any in the shoe, and I go over it. Now you start to see some progress. Not a lot, but you can see it, you can see it like even on this, the discoloration. Because the soap has enzymes in it. It has, it has a miracle formula. It cleans really, really well, but it doesn't hurt or have anything harmful for the human body. I've even read that you can swallow this stuff even in the concentrate form, and it cleans you out, usually with diarrhea. It doesn't do like what detergents and soaps would do, which would like destroy your cells and kill you. You don't have to go. I'm not suggesting that you drink it, but I'm just saying that it's safe to a degree, that if it's even consumed, that it's okay. So you can see here in a moment that there's just a little bit on there. There's a little dirt here and there. And there's dirt in the bottom of the shoe too that comes off. when it gets wet. You know, better, but not, you know, you can see it took off like some of those little, the dirt tracks and stuff like that. But now, boys and girls, if you go over and this isn't for the Miracle 2. The gloves are for this. And it doesn't take much, like a couple squirts, leave it and concentrate with some warm water, and apply. And you can see it literally, like, this is the one side, and here's the other. That was just the Miracle 2 soap. I'm going to take this out of the way before I dump it on the floor. Maybe a whole other video. So literally just a little bit. And you need to do it over and over again. Like, you know, apply it to different areas. And leave it on. And you can see it, like, literally. It's almost like a bleach without the harm. It literally is like eating the stuff off of here. And what's weird is you don't see a lot come off, but it does something. You can see some on here, but... And even like these front stubborn areas that's on here, go over that a little bit with the shelf. And remember, I'd already taken a damp cloth to it. I'd already taken the Miracle 2 soap to it. And then now check that out. You can see much of that has disappeared. Now, it's not perfect. I mean, these are some old ass shoes. They've been worn, like, every single time I go out, I wear these shoes, the only pair of shoes that are in my universe at this point, this moment in time. And I'm going to get another pair like this. Not this particular one, but you can see they are both pretty equally dirty. So check that out. Like, there's your dirty one. There's one I just went over once. So if you go over it a couple times with like a concentrated shout on there with hot water, it really does activate it. And if you leave it on there and then go over it again with the cleaning cloth with just hot water, or some of the Miracle 2 soap to help neutralize the chemicals, because it is good at doing that, you really get as clean an end product as you're going to get without taking it to do something professional to it. You know, someone who has some repair kits and can fix maybe some of the tears, or has some of those tennis shoe adhesive. So we'll do, sometimes if it's really bad like it is now, I will like apply it directly to the shoe, but when you do that, it really gets into the shoe. You can smell it for days, and then not a really big fan of that. So I'm putting a light solution on the tongue of the high top, letting it soak in, going back over, and you don't really need to apply a lot of pressure for this stuff to come off. So the shed is actually, you know, still on there to some degree all the way around, but check this out. There is the untreated one, and some of that is wear and tear that's not going to come off, but you can see a lot of that is dirt. And especially on the tongue, I mean, check that out. And then check that out after a once over. And it's still going to get even cleaner from here. Now, it's been 15 minutes, so yes, is this time consuming? Yes. Aesthetically, does it come out beautiful when you're done? Absolutely, because they just look like worn tennis shoes. They don't look like Raggedy Ann and Andy are homeless tennis shoes, you know. No problems with the homeless, but, you know, they don't clean their stuff for the most part. They don't have the facilities to do so, and eventually, you know, some of these things can start looking a little ratty. So that's, and I'm not done with this one. This is just an example of how they come out. And I will do the same thing to this one. I'll go through the same cycle. I'll do another treatment of shout on this one, and you want like the concentrate. And this is about the only time I use this, really, so it lasts forever. Maybe every great once in a while if I get something on a piece of cloth, like one of my clothings, and I want to get it out. If OxyClean won't do it, because I'll do it in OxyClean and then I'll wash it again in Miracle 2 as a rinse. If for some reason I think it's something that's going to stay blood or whatever, then I will use that, and then some OxyClean, and then I will wash it again because I can't tolerate this stuff with the Miracle 2. So, check that out. And I've done this a dozen times at least on these things, not as often as I should, but I mean, it's not perfect. The rest you see is mostly wear and tear. You know, some of these spots, that's wear and tear. That's just like, literally there's, you know, no plastic left on that. But it comes out pretty good. Like, you know, that's all wear and tear and whatnot, but white and pretty-er. And bum shoes. So for a minimal amount of time, and I mean, how much did it cost for a few squirts of that, and for a little touch of this? Like in next to nothing. So really it's just your time. After you initially get one of these, it'll last you forever. So just some shoe cleaning tips. It's worked really well, and I used the Dr. Scholl's like charcoal inserts just because the cushion in these have all ended, to extend out the lifetime. Well, yeah, you can see like on this one, this is, you know, you can send this out and get like the glue. You can get shoe glue. I was looking to get some shoe glue and glue this back down, but you can see this is just like a wear spot, so they really do need to retire very shortly. But you can extend the lifetime of any pair of shoes, well, tennis shoes, by doing this, and I've done this for years now. I started doing it on my old Nikes, the ones I had before this, and I think I had those for like 2-3 years. I just walked so much in them that they just disintegrated. So thank you very much for joining me, Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation. You are watching Glenn TV, coaching life, business, and spiritual. Also retreats, boys and girls. Don't forget retreats. There are spiritual retreats, and there are now executive business retreats to be able to come and learn WordPress or SEO, or if you want to start a new business and you want to brainstorm and get some things done, even do infrastructure for your website or write a business plan. That can be done in like Las Vegas, and it can be done in Manhattan Beach, California, in a beautiful near beach location. If you do like this video, please do like, subscribe, and share. And down below in the description, there are tons of things going on. Find the link that speaks to your heart and follow it, and you'll find the information that you wanted to see in this lifetime. Thank you very much. I feel like the Blue Man Group.